What's up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is in the Nitro Cave, as usual. You know, not a lot going in the Nitro Cave. We just got done with our, second, third rainstorm. I believe we're going to start getting some more, another one. I think either tonight or tomorrow. So, you know, we're getting a lot of rain out here, you know, and, yeah, I don't cry over spilled milk, you know, I mean, I have, but there's no sense in it. It is what it is, you know, I can't control Mother Nature, you know, the big man upstairs, you know, does whatever he, feels fit to do, and, you know, hey, in California, a lot of times we're, you know, as a state, we're complaining because we're the water shortage thing and all that. You know, I mean, even with all this rain, we've probably had about 5 feet of rain so far. They'll probably still complain about it when summertime comes. But anyway, so, you know, haven't done another BRAP session, but I am going to be getting out there soon. You know, and I know in the past I've been, you know, you guys know, if not, let me kind of update you. I've been kind of cycling through my modified motors. I'm very, very anxious and itching to have a few motors in the that I'm getting, I plan on getting modded here soon, but I don't, you know, want to put the cart in front of the horse. I don't want to clog myself with all these motors that need to be broken in and so forth. You know, I'm still on the first three, okay, which, if you guys know, is the reds that's in the Mugen Mbx7tr race buggy, okay, modified reds, okay, R5 Team Edition, 0.21, badass little motor. Yeah, quick note, if you're the guy, because I know a lot of people, especially even in truggies, run 0.21s. 0.21s are, everybody knows that's what they race. 8-skill, buggy, truggy, 0.21s is what they're racing. Who's doing what? And I mean, there's a lot of motors out there. OS, Reds, and LRP are probably the top right now. And I'm just going by what finished recently in the Worlds. Ungaro, the kid that, you know, David Ungaro, the kid that races Associated, who spanked everybody's ass and took the World's IFMAR this year, in Truggy and Buggy. He runs the LRP motors. Okay. Ty Testament, everybody knows, he runs OS. And Ryan Mayfield, he runs Reds. So those are the top three big dogs, I guess, if you want to call them, in the racing world. And like I said, if you're not race inspired or you don't go by what guys are racing, I mean, I don't go by completely what's winning and what's not winning, but that has a lot to do with my influence, just so you guys know, and I'm sure, I mean, you guys already know that, of what interests me. I'm interested in what's on top, who's running what platform, you know, even sometimes the tires, although a lot of that doesn't have too much to do with bashing. But hey, there's no bashing standings. Last time I checked, I didn't see anybody winning the bashing nationals. I mean, the bashing thing, it's all something that us bashers do. If we're not racing. Some guys bash and race, some guys don't even race at all anymore, like me. And, you know, not to say that I won't ever race again, but, you know, racing doesn't really interest me because the .21s is, you know, as badass as some of them are, bone stock, doesn't really do anything for me anymore. And like I said before, a stock .21 does as much for the Muggy Maniac as a stock of any kind of motor does for Mr. John Bodegel. You hear him say in the past, and you can ask him yourself, a stock motor does nothing for him anymore because he's just used to that power of the modified motors. If you guys have never had a modified motor, then you don't know what I'm really talking about. You'll have to experience it yourself. You know, all I can say is, even a .21 talking, a .21 stock, a badass one, whether it's a Reds, whether it's an OS or an LR, whatever, is not even close to a modified .21. It's completely different. Now when you go from modified .21s into modified .25, LRP .32s, Picos, .28s, and Rex, Novarasi Rex Legend 28s, .28s, again, that's a whole different ball game as well. You know, but the cycle that I've been doing is the Reds is the first one I broke in. Very first motor, modified motor that I broke in. The second one was the Novarasi Rex Legend 28.8. Okay. And then the third one was the Pico .28 7-port, the P3. So I mean, and I kind of keep it in that order. I'm trying to keep up all three of these motors. The Rex, the modified Rex 28.8 isn't dialed in yet. Not even close. Does that mean it doesn't run good? That doesn't mean it's, you know, no. It just means I haven't put enough fuel in it to get it, you know, dialed where I want it yet. Okay, I got to run more fuel to it. Same with the Pico P3, which you guys seen me just run not too long ago. That one is, you know, getting there. That's the one I'm you know, getting dialed in. It's almost there. It's still not there, but it's almost there. And then I'm going to focus my attention on that. So I was going to go, okay, you know, I just ran this one. Okay, now it's time for me to put some more fuel, and I'm not going to just keep on jumping like that. I'm at this point, you know, after a little bit, around a gallon through these modified motors that are modified by Rick at RB Mods, by the way. You know, I'm going to, again, the next run video that you see will be the Teckno and the P3 Pico .28, okay? And once I feel that it's, you know, dialed in and has more fuel through it, then I'm going to move over to, you know, the Mugen and the Mbx7tr Teckno here, and the Novarasi 28.8. Now, I've decided for now, these motors are going to stay on the platforms you guys see them in. The Reds definitely isn't going anywhere. It's been through pretty much all my platforms except for my Muggy. Okay, the Muggies, I've decided that the 28.8 Rex Legend stock is going to stay in it. It's a perfect motor. It fits this platform well. You know, because it is a 13-year-old platform, they don't make these things anymore. You know, I don't want to beat up on it with modified motors, you know. I ran the modded 28.8 in this thing, and, you know, it was a little tough on it. I mean, this stock Rex Legend 28.8 is I mean, I've ate up gears on this Muggy XTM Mammoth ST Muggy. I've, you know, gears and dog bones, and I mean, and that's with this stock motor. You know, but I've got, you know, everything pretty much dialed in, you know, where it's good. Okay, still messing around with the gearing. We changed the gearing. I'm going to run this one again soon, too. I'm not going to, like I said before, you guys know me. The Muggy Maniac's not turning anything into a shelf bitch anytime soon. Shelf queen, whatever you want to call it. I call them shelf bitches. So, but the stock 28.8 Rex Legend is plenty in this. It's the only, you know, I've got another 28.8 Rex Legend over here that I was gonna get modified, but yeah, not right now. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm not. I mean, Picos and LRP .32s. You know, I've got an OS up there. I mean, I'm not putting too much on my plate. You know, I'm focusing on just continuing to break in these motors. Once I've got a couple gallons through the Reds and the Pico and the Novarasi, you know, these modded motors that I have right now, then, you know, I'm going to move over to my .32. Definitely is getting modded. The OS Max that I have, you guys have probably seen it in the past. You know, I like to run my motors. I like to break them in, okay, run a little bit of fuel through them, even, you know, cross them from break-in 20% Byrons, which I break in all my motors with, and then 30% a little bit, and then boom, I stop. It's a beautiful motor, man. I mean, it runs as well as it looks. Now, this isn't like the OS speed motors. It's not the top, you know, but I didn't pay $500 for it like an OS. I wouldn't pay that much for an OS. This motor, I got it brand new. Well, let's just say I paid under $200. It's a .21, but it's a badass. You know, it's close. Not the quality wise, but as far as its performance, it's very close stock wise to the Reds. That's why I decided I'm going to modify that OS. It's a good motor, a good little .21, and it'll be a motor that I swap back and forth in the Mugen buggy. Okay, the Mugen buggy is, you know, those two, the OS, and once it's modified, we'll go in this and we'll mess around with it too. But the OS, LRP .32, and I'm getting a, I've decided I'm going to get a Novarossi Roma .25, because I've never had a .25. I've had a 24.7, not good quality, which was the first motor that I ran that came with the XTM, you know, but I heard a lot of good things about them. I heard they're really good motors, and I've decided that that'll be the third motor, because I'm going to do 3 more mods after these are broken and really, after I've got more fuel through them. LRP .32 modified, OS .21, OS Max, the one I just showed you, modified, and Novarossi Roma .25. So I kind of like to do a little bit of each, you know, instead of, you know, all big motors, all, you know, so .21, .25, and a big boy motor, which is the LRP. Those will be my next mods, but that will be a minute. Like I said, I'm not in any hurry. I want to take my time, and I suggest, you know, that if you're new or don't have a lot of experience in nitro and, you know, still learning, don't rush anything, man. You know, I mean, you don't, you know, I mean, there's no hurry. You want to take your time, be patient, because, you know, I mean, you don't want to screw anything up. Especially when you're, you know, I'm going to drop, you know, what, probably $500, $600 in, you know, by the time I buy the Roma, and then modify it with the other 3. I'm going to drop another $500 for 3 more badass modified motors. I know Rick, he does amazing work. Shout out to you, Rick, by the way, at RB Mods. Okay, yeah, so the question that somebody asked me, and this has been asked a few times, a couple, you know, nitro guys out there, by the way, welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Chuggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Monster Truck Maniacs, and the 5th scale Insaniacs, crazy ass 40cc Gizmo motors, Chang Young motors, frickin' Bartolome pipes, all that shit that those 5th scale guys run. Shout out to them. Those guys are doing good things. But, you know, I get guys that ask me, what is your take now? What do you think as far as a Mugen MBX Truggy? This isn't a brand new 8, obviously. It's a 7, but it's been out for a while. Race proven against the Teckno. Okay? And I guess my overview, or what I think is, now there's a few things that I think are very important when we're talking about truggies. Okay, durability is one, reliability, okay, kind of the same. Durability, reliability, is it durable? Can it take a beating? Is it reliable? Like, I haven't jumped these things off roofs yet, and I will eventually. Okay, how do they perform? As far as how do they handle, how do how when you drive it, is it hard to drive? Are they easy to build? Now these come in kits, but if you're gonna get one as a roller, which you can, you just gotta know what you're doing. And I'll kind of touch on that a little bit, because I have a couple brothers out there that you know, I mean, sometimes you have to learn the hard way, man. You know, I'm just glad, knock on wood, that I didn't spend any money, even if it was a couple $100 on a platform, and then got it and found out that it wasn't even worth putting anything into it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to be patient, man. Do your homework. I always say that to you guys. Study. Do your homework. Do your research. ask the person that you might be buying it from, okay, what do you use it for? You know, make sure you get lots of extra parts with it. You know, send me pictures of it, because sometimes the pictures might look okay, but it depends. Some people will take pictures to kind of hide certain shit. You know, don't be a knucklehead and okay, well, that's what it looks great, let me buy it. Say, hey, you know what, bro, can you send me that picture? Might have been from frickin', you know, before he beat it up some more. Or, you know, I got plenty of pictures of these things. I really did my homework, my research. Now, when I got it, granted, it still didn't look like what it did in the pictures, but there wasn't any surprises. You know, I didn't look at this MBX7 and, you know, and I mean, because when I seen the pictures of it, the body looked really brand new. And then when I got it, you know, I'm like, wow, this body is kind of beat up. I mean, I'm thankful it came with a body in the first place. I don't expect to get bodies and you know, a lot of extra parts with a platform. Sometimes you know, depending on what you're paying, you're only going to get a handful of parts. I just happen to get tons of parts with this thing. You know, diffs. I got tons of stuff with the Teckno. You know, so I saved a lot of money, and I got, like, you know, on a grade of 1 to 10, these two truggies right here that I purchased are probably about a scale of 1 to 10 as far as grading, you know, condition wise. Both of these things were equal at, I would say, about a 7.5 or 8. Okay, not completely brand new, but not completely beat to hell. So that's good enough for me. If I can get around a 7 to an 8, a grade as far as the condition it's in, then you're good, man. Trust me, you scored. Long as, you know, you're still not going to know until you open the diffs. And when I started taking these apart, you know, they look really clean. And both of these truggies were owned by guys that raced. This one just came off a national race. The guy raced it. I don't know if it was the main one or a practice one. This guy over here raced for Mugen. It raced the national in Florida the last time he ran it. So these are truggies that guys that owned them prior to me raced them. Okay, now they weren't the pros or anything, but they raced them. And what I found out from racers, and you don't just take my word, you can ask anybody that's been around long enough. Most guys that race really don't upkeep their shit that well. Now, whether it's they get a lot of free shit so they don't care, or they're just lazy, I don't know what it is, but it's crazy. You would think a guy that races professionally even or anything, this thing would be so immaculate. I mean, they were pretty clean, but compared to, you know, I mean, maybe it's just the Monkey Maniac. You guys know I'm just very anal and very OCD when it comes to clean, frickin', you know, clean shit, cleaning shit. I don't think I'll ever find anything used that's immaculate like I would keep it. These things are, these are more used than when I got them, because obviously I put more time on them now and ran them. And they're cleaner right now than when I bought them. And the guys that owned them that race cleaned them before they shipped them to me. These things are as clean as you would buy brand new and build out of the box. Hands down, guarantee you. And you can ask anybody, you know, that knows how to clean and maintain their stuff. You know, I mean, that's just the way that I roll. That's the way I clean. I worked my ass off, and I worked a lot of overtime to have the shit that I have. I take care of it, man. Unless you just got money to throw away, and, you know, money's not an issue to you. You're just daddy Warbucks, and you got money coming out your ears. Then disregard what I just said. Beat your stuff to hell, and just when it gets torn up and raggedy, buy another one, or whatever you want to do. But anyway, these two truggies also, you know, when it comes to how I rate truggies also, or nitros, is are they easy to maintain and work on? Now I will tell you, these are pretty equal. The Teckno though is a little, just because the way it's designed, to me is a little bit easier to work on than, not that it's hard to work on the Mugens, you know. I just think the access to everything, take the on this thing is really, really just easy. You know, all the way from, you know, tearing, because I've torn both of these things down numerous times, all the way down. The only thing I haven't on either one of them taken completely apart, I mean, dismantling everything, is the shocks. Now I've opened both of these vehicles. I've taken the shocks, changed the oil on them, because, you know, when you got them guys that are racing them, they're running like freaking 5 or they're running like, you know, 20 weight or 10 weight. They're running, you know, they're not running what you want to run as far as when you're bashing, you know. I run 35 to 40 weight in the front on my truggies, and I run 45 to 50 in the back. That's just my preference. It depends. I've always had that kind of setup. The same on my buggy, the same on my muggy. The buggy a little bit lighter. I think I'm 40 to 45 in the back, and on the truggies I'm 40, and I'll jump 10, 50 in the back. That's what I like to run. Both of these are very, very, the shock builds on, as far as the shocks on a Mugen compared to Teckno. I think the Mugen's got the edge. These Mugen's shocks, I was fortunate. These things are brand new. I mean, I look at the scuffs. Is there scuffs on the top? There was hardly any wear on the top of these things. The shock towers had very little, like zero wear. Okay, but that's part of the design. If you look at the way the wing is, and compared to the top of the shock towers, even if you flip these things, that's what the wing is. It's not going to get the top of the shock towers or the top of the shock caps. Now, if you look at the Teckno, different. Okay, I think even the wing I had, and that's why if you look at the Teckno, there's wear on the top of these shock towers. I am going to eventually replace them. That's, you know, just me. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not bent or anything or beat up. I just like my shit looking prestige and fresh. That's just me. I'm anal about that shit. But, you know, I mean, the shocks are both great shocks. But I just think the Mugens are a little bit more plush than the Teckno. You know, but it's very close, man. Very, very minimal. But the maintaining them is very similar. The Mugen isn't hard to work on. But the Teckno is just the way it's designed. I mean, this whole radio tray, you guys have seen my videos, this whole radio tray comes apart. You know, the Mugen, you got to take, you know, the side guards off, and then you got to take the radio tray out a little bit more. As far as the diffs and the front end, both of these diffs are easy to maintain. The maintenance on them is very, very low. They're sealed very well. So, I mean, as far as maintaining and working on them, they're close. Tekken a little bit easier, okay, which is good for the new guy. You know, for a newbie, you know, that's still learning, that, you know, at least if he wants to learn, to have the patience and learn how to tear down and maintain your stuff, you know, the Teckno is easier to work on. But, you know, like I said, the Mugen isn't like it's complicated. Now, if you want to talk about building standpoint, since I've torn both of them down, the instructions and putting them together, the Teckno is one of the easiest platforms that you'll ever build, and you can ask anybody. So, that's a plus. If you're a newbie and you have the money, you know, to spare or whatever, and you want to get a Teckno, man, this thing, you can beat the hell out of it. It's definitely a tank. Now, Mugens, okay, are very, very tough, durable platforms. I haven't broken anything yet. Even my Mugen 10-year-old, 13-year-old Mbx5 over there that's, you know, 13 years older than this thing, that thing I beat the hell out of too, as you guys know, and that thing is a tank. You know, that's one of the things that got me to leaning towards getting a Mugen was, you know, because I know durability. You know, going by something way older like the buggy. And that's where, you know, I was like, okay, well, I know Mugens are very durable, and I always wanted a Mugen truggy. Just couldn't, it took me a while to find the right setup as far as price, parts that came with it, condition, all that, man. That's what I'm saying. When you're going to buy something used, a roller, okay, just be patient, do your homework, man. Don't be so adaptable to just jump on anything, okay? Because what will happen is when you start tearing it apart, you're going to be like, man, I got to replace this. And I see, that's why I made sure that this thing came with tons of parts. I mean, I almost got enough extra parts to build a whole nother one that came with it. Okay? Because if I did have to replace anything, it came with extra front arms, extra rear arms, you know, extra carbon fiber even, you know, tons of shock springs, you know, extra pillow balls, extra bones, dog bones, drive shafts. Same thing with the Teckno. It came with extra everything in it. Tons of extra plastic. But the Teckno is a little bit different because one thing that I will point out is the Teckno plastic is more durable than this thing. And I think, and like I said, don't just take my word. Matter of fact, it was funny because I've talked to the owner of King Heads, which makes a lot of the aftermarket front and rear braces. By the way, also shout out to Mr. Don Foss, who just recently, I want to congratulate him and congratulate you, Don, on he just picked up one of these. From what I can see in the video, he looked like I don't know what he paid for it, but it looked like he scored. I'll tell you what I paid for this thing. I paid $20 less, $30 less, I think, than I did for the Teckno. The Teckno I paid $325. This one I paid $300 as a roller. No rims, no tires, no radios or servo, and no motor, obviously. Okay, extra tanks, tons of extra parts, like gobs of parts. I got a box of parts for this thing, both of them. So 600 and whatever, let's just say $650. We'll say that $650 shipping and receiving to get to my front door. Both of these platforms as a roller. Okay, with enough parts to almost build 2 more of these. That's what, and that's out there, man. I didn't just get lucky, or I feel very fortunate that I scored, but there's tons of these platforms like that out there still. You just got to be patient. You got to look. It took me a long time, and not a long time, but it took me a while because I was patient. I almost bought an Associated. Not sorry that I didn't, but I'm glad I didn't. I almost bought a Kyosho Chuggy. Okay, but these platforms are very, 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 very easy to build. They're very durable, yeah. So I mean, as far as maintaining, working now, as far as handling, they both handle great. The Teckno steers like crazy. It has one of the most precise and crazy frickin' steering that I've ever drove on a buggy or a truggy. This thing handles like a buggy. Okay, it doesn't handle you. It's crazy. It doesn't handle like a truck. It handles like a buggy. Now the Mugen MBX, that thing handles well and is it slices and dices. It's very, very sharp turning as well. But the Teckno out-handles it, definitely. But it handles well too. So yeah, I mean, they both of these make you a better driver. And I'm not that great of a driver. But if you get one of these things and your driving sucks, man, it makes you drive even better. Braking wise, definitely the brake systems on the Teckno are way superior. You guys have seen my past videos. The brakes on these things, it'll stop on a dime and give you a nickel back. They're almost too much brake as well. You got to really get used to it. Mugens have great brakes, but not like the Teckno. Teckno brakes are far superior than any brakes that I've seen, even on any platform out there. So anyway, what I was saying is was talking to the guy from King Heads. He said the reason that Teckno doesn't, or he doesn't make a lot of aftermarket Teckno parts is because then the shit doesn't break. It's very durable. Now I also talked to you, by the way, and I have a package here. I already opened it, and it's not like an unboxing or an unpack. It's something that I just want to kind of show you that why I think that being patient and very how should I say persistent when you're dealing with shipping. Okay, some people just, have issues with something, or something breaks or something happens and they're like, well, whatever. Other people are like, okay, well, that shouldn't have happened. Should I call the company, or should I just chalk it up and just, whatever, it is what it is. Okay, and I'm talking of, this is DE Racing. The racing, that one of my rims, now I think maybe I didn't put it tight enough, but I've never had an issue with DE rims. Okay, and I have a few sets of them, ever rounding. Okay, now the one that I have never completely rounded. Like, it's still okay, but it started to round a little bit. Okay, never had this problem before. Okay, so anyway, and I'm going to tell you in a second what happened with DE Racing. Okay, but anyway, back to this real quick. I'm trying to Muggy Maniac, how he starts babbling and he's all over the place. But anyway, the braking on these things are superior, man, on the Teckno. So, it's pretty close. Okay, Teckno, Mugen Mbx7 Teckno, they're both great platforms. They're both top notch. I love them. They're easy to work on. They handle great. They're very durable, very reliable. Parts is another big thing too. Parts for these things are very available. You don't have a problem getting parts for these things. A-Main and Absolute Hobbies and all over eBay, tons of parts available. Okay, now another guy asked me. He said, "Well, I'm getting into want to get into nitro, but it's kind of expensive." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, it can be, And I go on A-Main for this guy, and I'm looking, and that's just, I want to make a very valid point. Okay, you can spend, and I know people get Traxxas because that's all that their hobby shop has to offer, or because they only have race kits, and race kits can be, are expensive, $500-600. But, that I don't think that's not an excuse. Okay, why would you spend $449 on a Traxxas Jado, okay, or $500 on a T-Max, Traxxas, X-Max, whatever, when you can spend, in this case, you can get a Losi 8 Nitro Truggy or Buggy. The Buggies are $350 at A-Main. Okay, I mean, a Kyosho's $5. I would spend $500 on a Kyosho before I'd spend $500 on an X-Max or a Revo or a Rustler. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. So, when people tell me, oh, well, Traxxas, it's not as expensive as whatever. Well, okay, it's not, they're, like I said, some nitros that can get pricey. Tekken, brand new Teckno, I mean, 600 and some change, and Mugen, 600 and some change, Truggy wise. Look, okay, there is a RTR ready to go, okay, Losi 8, okay, Nitro Truggy for $400. Okay, look, another $80 and you can get a Kyosho Inferno Neo, which are pretty badass, a good first one. So I'm telling this guy, listen, man, do yourself a favor, don't buy a Traxxas because you're going to be disappointed. Okay, you're going to get frustrated, And obviously these come with, RTR motors are nothing compared to even a bone stock, .21, anything, long as it's got a backplate on it, Okay, you will get tired of busting, pull starts, and you will get burned out on the rotor starts and having those one-way bearings strip out on you. And like I said before, you're wasting power. It's not worth it. You know, the first thing that I told him, I said, now if you're gonna spend, that's a great deal, $400. Okay, shipped to your door, free shipping from A-Main, $400. You got everything you need. First thing you do, go ahead and run the hell out of it, out of the thing, and you know, run the dynamite piece of shit motor that's in there. Run that thing into the ground, or you know, run it till it blows up. And that won't take very long. Ask John Bodegel. His friends, they're blowing plenty of those motors up. Even throw a backplate on it, and you're gonna blow it up. Okay. Now you could spend another couple $100 on an Overossi 28.8 Rex Legend. Throw it in there. So then you're spending what, $600? You're still cheaper than a race platform for now. Because look, there's the new Mbx7tr Teckno, $750. Now I get it. That's expensive. Okay, you know what I'm saying? For somebody that's new. But if you got the money, buy one of those. I'd recommend that. You know, or spend another $100 and buy a low-C race truck or a race platform. You know, if you want to build something, I suggest you buy one of those to build. You know, if you got the money. But if it's not in your budget, I mean, don't give me the excuse Traxxas is more affordable. Blah blah. I hear that a lot, man. It's like, come on. Don't take my word. Look at that. You know. There's your proof right here. $400, you get a low-C. It's not a race trucky, okay? Keep that in mind. This is not a 4.0, okay? This is an RTR. But it's a hell of a lot better. Like, leaps and bounds, light years better than any Traxxas out there. And the Traxxas is you know, a Jado's 450, I think it was. A Revo is 500. Why in the... excuse my language, fuck, would you spend $500 on a Revo? Traxxas. You know why? Because you do not know any better. Shame on you for not doing your homework. Come on, people. Quit it. Stop it. I don't want to hear the excuse. $400, you got one of the best RTRs out there. And you guys know me, I'm not a low-C guy. I hate, and can't, well, I can't stand Horizon. I use tons of low-C products, but you know, I'm hard on low-C. I admit that. And it's not because of low-C, it's because I just don't like the fact that they're puppeted by Horizon. That's the meat and potato of it. Are they a good company? Yeah, they're a good company. I mean, they're not as good as they used to be. You know, obviously they used to be better when Horizon owned them. You know, they could call their own shots and do their own things, and you know, but now, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, so anyway, I don't want to beat up Traxxas and beat up low-C. That's not what this is about. But I just want to give you guys some facts, okay? Why spend the money on a Traxxas, period? Okay, and I will never, ever, ever, okay, I would be doing somebody a disservice by allowing, if I can control it, them to think that a Traxxas RTR is a great starter or beginner platform. Hell no, it isn't. Now, there's just some people out there that are just, they love their track. Hey, that's your preference. To each his own. If you love your Traxxas and you think your Traxxas is the, you know, greatest thing to sliced bread, hey, that's your prerogative. But the fact of the matter is, Traxxas is junk, garbage. They will never race. They'd have to redesign the whole freaking company if they wanted to race, and that ain't ever going to happen. You got a better chance of God popping out of this computer than Traxxas ever deciding to race. They never will. They're just you know, they're toys. Okay, is what they are. So, big boys, the big boys don't, you know, the serious big boys in Nitro, they don't run Traxxas shit. I didn't see John Bodegel running an X-Max. Oh yeah, well, he ran a Revo when he was brand new. Yeah, when he was a freaking newbie. And he didn't know any better, you know. He ran a Revo with a modified motor. And I'm sure he's not. I don't want to say he's embarrassed, but you know, or he's ashamed, but he's not proud of it. You don't see him mention anything about that thing. Except, man, he learned the hard way. So anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah, to sum up what I just said on my what we talked about. The Mugen Chuggy, Teckno Chuggy. Okay, who's the baddest? Well, I can't say, man. It's kind of comparing, like I said, comparing that Novarasi, which is better quality. Okay, but it's still, you know, it's better quality, but it's not like it blows away this Pico. Pico's great too. These are two Italian motors, okay, that have been proven, got a proven track record. Okay, now granted they are both modified, but man, I love both these motors, man. I'm almost thinking about getting me another Pico, 0.28, okay, and getting it modified. I mean, I really like the Picos. It's the only other decent 0.28 that's out there, you know, that I'm aware of, you know. So it's got the torque, the same type of power as the 28.8. You know, like I said on my last video, the advantages are Novarasi carburetors are better than the Pico carburetors. Like I said, I'm gonna see if I can fit a Novarasi carburetor on the Pico. Guess what? Pico's getting a Novarasi carburetor, because the Novarasi carburetors are the easiest, most, you know, quality, just so easy to tune, man, and they stay tuned, and you don't have to mess with them, man. Not that the Picos are hard to tune, it's just, you know, they're a little bit more touchy. So are the Reds. Great Italian motor as well. I wish Reds, man, I'm trying to email Mario. If Reds would come out with even a 0.25, man, I would be on that shit like a hobo on a hot dog. Trust me. Because Reds are even, as quality-wise, above Novarasi. Well, I mean, come on. Mario, the son of the late, great Cesar Novarasi, the founder of Novarasi, you know, his son is the one running Reds. He just took his dad's, what his dad built and his, you know, what he learned from Novarasi and took it to a next level. He took it to definitely above what Novarasi is, okay? But does that mean the Novarasis aren't great? No, they're great, man. Legendary. These motors are very reliable, well-priced, quality, and everything. But the Picos are good too. This Pico, man, I love both these motors. So comparing the Mugen to the Teckno, same thing. This Mugen is a badass. Great, durable, reliable, easy to work on, easy to drive, truggy. But Teckno's a little bit above the Mugen, you know. Sorry, Adam Drake. I love Adam, man. That's my boy, man. Legendary Adam Drake, the Dale Earnhardt of RC Nitro, whatever you want to call it, of RC period, man. So anyway, I called DEE when I had that problem with the rim. Guess what they did? Okay, this is what they did. All I needed was one. I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll send me a pair. I was only expecting a new one. Okay, so I get this package today. Check this out, people. 2 brand new rims. Oh, wait, there's more, and that's not all. 3. Oh, oops. 3. Okay, sorry about that. And 4. 4 brand new DE Racing Speedline Truggy rims. Okay, any question about DE customer service and do they stand behind their product? Hell yes, they did. When I talked to Dave, which is the owner of DE Racing, I said, hey man, I just want to thank you. I only expected 1 rim, let alone 2, let alone 4. He's all, hey man, that's the, you know, I stand behind my product. I'm sorry that you had that issue with that 1 rim starting to you know, strip out, and you know, I hope it doesn't happen again. I said, you know, maybe it's just one of those fluke things. He goes, if it does, man, I'll send you another set. I was like, you don't have to do all that. He goes, no. I mean, and that's customer service, man. That's the shit that I'm talking about. So especially for a newbie, something might happen. And a company says, you know what, no problem, Mr. Whoever you are. We got your back. You know, same thing like I said with Horizon. As much as I can't stand them, their customer service is awesome. You know, I had an issue with the Dynamite, you know, the Dynamite glow igniter, And they said, you know what, no problem. We're sending you a brand new one. They're out of stock right now. It might take a minute. But in the meantime, here, we'll send you this thing. You got to put a D battery in it. You know, I probably won't even use it. You know, well, this is like 15 bucks. We'll send you this one for right now. And then once we get the other Dynamite ones in stock, we'll send you a brand new one of those too. That's what I'm talking about, man. Customer service, man. Take care of your people. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's pretty much it, you know. Not a lot going on, like I said, because of the weather. You know, I don't got, you know, the only other thing that I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready to do another body. I'm just waiting for it. Another body coming for the Mugen. The Mugen's getting another body. And I think I'm going to get another one for the Teckno, too. I want to get another one for the buggy. I want to try a JC Concept because I don't have a JC Concept. I've got 3 of the Pro line ones, the Phantom bodies that I have for the Mugen buggy. But it's because they're really affordable. I mean, the prices are really good, man. That's why I got 3 of them. So, other than that, yeah, that's what's going on with the Muggy Maniac. We're gonna get the Muggy back out there again too. But in the meantime, we got to get this badass, sick, nasty Pico .28 dialed in. We're almost there. We're there. We're real close. It's not where I want it yet. And then that thing is, you know, those don't take but running more fuel through them. So, but yeah, the only other motors that are going to go in either one of these things modified will be the .25. I don't know where I'll put that, Roma, and I definitely will probably put the LRP .32, once it's modified, will be in the Teckno. I mean, I'll go back and forth on these things. So, anyway, that's all I got, people. I know this video, I've been running some long-ass videos, but I figured since guys aren't really doing anything, most guys back east, or you guys out there, you know, hey, gives you something to watch. I know I said I don't do these videos to entertain, but if I can, you know, give you guys something to grow on, or something to, you know, keep you busy while you're wrenching, which is what I do when I'm wrenching. I watch John's videos, I watch Elite RC videos, I watch, you know, Raja 111. Shout out to all those guys, Raja, John Bodegel, you know, Elite RC. I said him, yeah. You know, even Fitscale Only. Haven't heard anything about him. Hopefully he's still alive. You know, I'm sure he is. He's got nothing. I just heard from Floyd Brewer. He just got in his 2 modified motors. His 28.8, like this one here, and his Pico P3. He's just waiting for some weather so he can break it in. I tell you what, even if it was snowing outside, I would still go break my shit in outside in the snow. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I go through all that. But anyway, so that's all I got, people. Muggy Maniac is out of here. And remember, if you guys are going to have your shit stored away for however long, make sure you check your pistons, set them bottom dead center. Make sure you got some after-run oil or 3-in-1 or Marvel Mystery Oil. Just don't rely on the WD-40, because that shit will only last so long. And you'll still end up jacking your motor up. So, we'll see you on the next video, which more than likely, hopefully, will be in the next couple days. We're going to be running the, again, Teckno with the Pico, modified Pico P3 .28. So yeah, that's all I got. So, like I said, it's pretty even, man. Both these truggies here, Teckno, Mugen, sick. Can't go wrong with either one, man. Whatever floats your boat. So, anyway, that's all I got, people. Peace.